let's get into it. Let's talk about the latest episode, the third episode for the third season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. I'm your boy, The Kempire. And yes, normally we would go live and recap The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but it's a busy weekend. I'm trying to get podcast episodes done, other stuff done, just so that I can be a part of BravoCon this weekend. And yes, I will be talking all about it and mentioning it all. Anyways, let's talk about this latest episode. This latest episode is Courtside Conundrum. And I want to know, all of you that are watching this, how would you rate the season so far? It's only 3 episodes. And how would you rate this current episode? If I had to rate this current episode, honestly, I was kind of bored. I was kind of bored and confused by the end of this episode. And I think that Whitney and Heather are trying to produce, and failing at it, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you again, Whitney for me is coming across not as a credible witness, because I feel like she forgets what people have said and kind of makes up what they've said. We'll get back to that. But at the top of this episode, we have Whitney talking about her trauma and talking about how she completely, blacked out ages, I think 9 to 17 because of the abuse that she experienced. So she's sharing this with the group, and this is one group where I'd be like, okay, you can probably share, maybe share this deep dark secret, unlike the Beverly Hills girls. But she talks about that, and for me, anyone else just find Heather's reaction confusing? And maybe Heather was just caught off guard because her and Whitney have been close, and Whitney hasn't shared this with her until maybe cameras are rolling, because she seemed genuinely concerned and genuinely confused at the same time. And she was also trying to understand, how did you block out that amount of time, and how did you trigger those memories now? And Whitney tries to explain it, but it is Whitney. Whitney explained that whole telemarketing scheme a lot better than she's explaining any of the stuff that she's doing in this latest season, to be honest. I'm trying to be honest, as you can see. So we have her talking about that, but it turns from about Whitney to the issues between Lisa and Meredith. And I've said this countless times, I'm going to say it again. Meredith is going to drag this out for the rest of the season, because what else is Meredith's storyline? Last season, we didn't realize that Meredith was going through all that she was going through until the end of the season at the reunion. So Meredith is very much like some of these other housewives that become terribly boring. And when I see Meredith stands, I'm sort of like, really? Look, and I can appreciate Meredith joining in the fun about the All I Love America hat, the I Love America mug that she has in her confessionals, because as you know, with Lisa Barlow saying that she effed half of New York, she's leaning in. I appreciate that humor. But I'm still wondering, what is Meredith's story? And she's making this situation. Last season, the last couple of seasons, it was her issues with Jen Shaw. Now she's best friends with Jen Inmate Shaw, or Inmate Jen Shaw. I mean, that's what they're going to refer to her. It's just saying. And Jen trying to, all these moments that, look, I can understand that Jen, unlike Erica, is very likable in moments during the season. Very likable, very funny. But I'm always reminded that every time she claims her innocence, that she admits to guilt. And I know she might play that off, well, I had to because of, the sentencing. Things weren't looking good for me. I'm sure that's how she's going to explain it after she gets out of jail. However, we all believe, and I told you the Southern District of New York does not play. They usually are investigating these things for years and have gathered their information and evidence. And the fact that she was trying to fight it up until the last week already said to me, this woman is delusional. And then every time she tries to use race to try to protect her, she's the worst kind. So you're not going to get any sympathy from me, Jen Shaw, during this season. Anyways, Meredith and Lisa go at it during this very first scene, and Meredith starts to allude that Lisa needs mental help. She doesn't say mental because she's a lawyer. Remember that. She's a lawyer, so she's very careful about the words that she uses. But her insinuating that Lisa might need help, okay, she might need some help. But I think this is just who Lisa Barlow is. And then Lisa Barlow fumbling her words with the whole, I'm not going to slit my wrists. Did she miss when she was talking about? I mean, we didn't know the details of what was going on with her family member that was having mental health issues, but she literally said it during the reunion. And yes, it might be just something that Lisa Barlow says. The producers, editors show us, earlier in the day, she said the same exact thing. But I get what she's trying to say. I think Meredith wants Lisa Barlow. I don't know what Lisa Barlow could do in this moment to make it up to Meredith. Nothing, because Meredith likes that this is going to be her storyline for the rest of the season. All right. All right. So they have that back and forth, but then it seems like they make peace. They're not fully there, but Meredith is like, all right, we can try and move forward, but it's going to take some time. All right. Look, all right. So Heather, who has for a very long time wanted to be a part of this in-girl crowd, she's wanted to be Lisa Barlow's friend for a very long time. So she has taken it on her to defend Lisa to Meredith. She goes to Meredith. Meredith now has glam. We already knew Jen Shaw, who shouldn't be able to afford glam, will always have glam on a trip. Now all of a sudden Meredith has glam on a trip because she knows she can't face tune what she's putting out on this show on video. Look, Meredith. So she has glam, but Heather confronts her about what she's doing and being condescending. And I agree with Heather. Even though I think Heather is defending Lisa Barlow to be cool with Lisa Barlow, I agree with her. Meredith is making Lisa pay, and she's punishing Lisa for what Lisa said. And I know I have to play it again. Every time I play it out, what Lisa said was horrible, horrific, but should that ruin a friendship? Some of you will say yes. I don't know. You still have to film a show. That's what I'm thinking. You still have to film a show. You still have to be around each other. So on some level, you have to move forward. Will you guys ever be friends? Apparently, according to Meredith, I never trusted you. That's why I've never gotten fully close to you. After 10 years. And I know you have associates of people that you fully do not trust and you've known for a very long time. I don't know how you people do it. I mean, there are people that I probably don't fully trust, but they're not I'm not calling them friend. But that's me. That's me. Some of you are able to do it, and God bless you. So we have that moment where Heather and Meredith, it gets very heated between the two of them. Okay? And I have to agree with Heather in that moment. I feel like Meredith is being condescending. She just has that air about her. All right? So Meredith gets her glam. They have that conversation. They move on. Jen Shaw is running around the house with a bullhorn. Some of you like it. Some of you are like, she's annoying. I didn't even recognize her without her makeup. Anyways, the Jen Shaw Express. So the ladies, very much like all these other housewives, do that whole bicycle and drinking thing. These ladies, I feel like, because we're so far into this franchise, how many years, almost 20 years of this franchise, they really are trying to be those fun go girls and have a good time and drink and da-da. It felt a little forced to me. It was a little disgusting seeing Jen Shaw pour this wine down Whitney Rose's crotch. I was just like, that's gonna... Ugh. But it was not lost on me when Whitney in her confessional was like, the way that Meredith and Lisa were passively aggressively throwing wine at each other. That was my favorite moment of that whole situation. But everything else, bicycling around, throwing around liquor, that wasn't fun for me. But some of you were entertained by that. But this is my review. I wasn't entertained. I was actually sort of like, this seems very forced of you guys trying to be like the cool girls. So they're all hosting different events. So Lisa Barlow hosts another event. I cannot pronounce what this is called, but the women on the horses with the beautiful dresses, they were also in the Dolce and Gabbana fashion show. So of course, Lisa Barlow wore her Dolce and Gabbana boots and she kept on talking about it. Meredith made fun of her for keep on talking about it, but then it wouldn't be Lisa Barlow. She wouldn't be a great housewife for not being so shallow. And she's asking the young ladies that were in the fashion show, so, did they design this or design that? I thought that was interesting, actually, that they designed everything that they wore in the fashion show. They talked about the fashion show, that experience, seeing the ladies get up on these horses and then sit, differently on a horse. I was like, this is interesting. Interesting. That's the thing about Salt Lake City that I do like. I feel like we do get a different aspect of culture, religion, different things that we don't necessarily see in the United States. when we go to some of these major cities, these cities we've all gone to, some of you have never gone to certain parts of Salt Lake, Utah, or Arizona like this. So it gives us a different aspect. And the fact that Dolce and Gabbana highlighted these women in their fashion show, I was like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Because some of you probably have never seen it before, like me. Okay. No, I think I have seen it before. I take that back. Anyways, so we get that moment, which I thought was interesting. But it's not even anything about that. To me, this was a slower episode. For a girls' trip, it felt a little too slow until the end. Until the end, garbage whore lingerie party where Lisa Barlow wears a full-on, so I creep, yeah, cute on down. It's a cute outfit, just not a part of the theme, Lisa. It was not a part of the theme. It just didn't work. I don't know what you were thinking. Being modest, I guess. I don't know. Who do you think looked the best? I think I might give it to Whitney. No, I might give it to Whitney, or I might give it to Jen Shaw. Between the two of them. Okay. But this is Whitney talking with Heather before they all come together, saying, I feel like I need to say something. And Heather's like, why? Like, right now we're having a good time. Like, why do you feel the need that you have to say something? She's like, I feel like it falls on me to say something because Meredith has come to me to bring up these rumors about Lisa. And I feel like I need to tell Lisa. Forever being a producer between Heather and Whitney, them both trying to produce this episode, and it ends up turning them on each other. And here's the thing. I will say this. Whitney got the information wrong. And I do think that Meredith was very careful with her words. But Whitney does finally say to Lisa, well, I heard from this one, Angie Harrington comes up again, that you and this man, and she's like, oh my God, that is disgusting. That is disgusting. I guess because he's like a father figure, a mentor to Lisa Barlow. They're accusing her of sleeping with this man for favors, sexual favors, according to Whitney, not according to Meredith. But Whitney confronts Meredith about this during this trip and says that, oh, and Meredith told me, to Jen Shaw, that you brought it up too. So she wants to bring it out. I would not be surprised if a producer is in Whitney's ear. You need to be the one to bring these out. Producers do that because they're producing a reality show. So they need someone to carry the bone. They are in these people's ears. And you're like, why do you feel the need? Why are you acting this way? Probably because a producer told her to. I can't wait to go to BravoCon to actually hear the producers speak about their experiences as producing, because that to me is the most interesting part. I really don't care about the Housewives part of it. I mean, I do, but I'm more interested because we don't get to hear the producer sides very often, except in that book. So Whitney feels like it's on her shoulders to say something. And she finally does to Lisa Barlow. Lisa Barlow has the big turn up. She's like, everything is good with my family. And everyone is segueing to the skip. You saw the skip she did in her So I Creep outfit out of the room. And then Meredith probably feels bad because Meredith is caught out there for talking. She didn't necessarily say everything that Whitney said, but she's caught out there talking, going from house to house, talking about Lisa Barlow as revenge. Clearly. So she goes to Lisa Barlow's room and Lisa's like, I don't want to talk to you. You're not my friend. You are not my friend. They're not. They never were friends. I think they were just associates and they were both going to be on the show and they made it work. And now all of a sudden, Meredith needs a storyline. And you gave her that rant. So here we go. Here we are. The rest of the season, they're going to go back and forth at it. I would not be surprised if Lisa Barlow is next to Andy again this season. I don't think Meredith will be. I think Jen Shaw will be, just because Jen Shaw is going to jail. Just saying. So I'm just thinking far ahead. And Bravo producers, editors, we don't need a 20-something episode. That was a long season last season for Salt Lake City. We don't need that long of a season this year. Because based on what we've gotten so far, I don't know. So Lisa's upset. Meredith is trying to, because I think Meredith realizes like, oh, I was wrong. I'm caught out there. Now I'm wrong. Now I have to kind of make amends. So she's trying to make amends with Lisa in this moment, which turns into a Whitney versus Heather situation because Whitney accuses Heather of being there courtside when Angie Harrington told her this rumor. But when I had to think in my head, if you're courtside, it's loud. It's very possible. And Heather, I do think, is a sniper from the side. I've said this countless times. I do think she's a sniper from the side. But part of me feels as if Heather may have not heard it. You know what I mean? Because people might assume that you hear something, you're all there, you're all hanging out and laughing. And sometimes someone says something, and even if you didn't hear it, I know I'm definitely guilty of this. Even if I didn't hear it, I'll be like, and God only knows what the person said. God only knows what the person said. So part of me feels as if that might be what happened with Heather, that she didn't hear exactly what Angie Harrington said. I did see that Angie Harrington is sharing her own thoughts on social media. I didn't get a chance to read through all of it. And Whitney, regardless, this is not looking good for you, Whitney. You're looking like a bone carrier dropping all the bones. Not even carrying them. Like she's fumbling like that cake. She's fumbling all the bones on the way to whoever she's bringing the bones to. So Whitney, girl. This didn't turn out good for you. And then Jen Shaw then trying to have, you need to value this. Jen, I can't even review and talk about what you talked about because I don't believe a word that's coming out of your mouth. I don't believe a word. I'm keeping this review short. We can dig more deep into it next week when we recap the show, but I wanted to make sure that you heard my initial thoughts. I didn't think that this was a great episode. I probably would rate this episode between, I would rate this episode a 6.5. A 6.5, which isn't bad, but it felt like a sleeper episode to me. It didn't feel genuine. I'm still kind of missing the quirkiness of a Mary Cosby, even though she wasn't always showing up. I'm still kind of missing that. And I'm seeing there really are no real friendships here. One real friendship that we thought was there was between Whitney and Heather, and that blew up in our face. If anything, that stood out to me the most. But I feel like we're still missing that. Like we needed to bring like one of the friend doves on. We still have not even really met all the friend doves. We only met one, the other Angie. We know Angie Harrington from previous seasons, but still, I'm like this would have been perfect episode to have Angie there, to be honest. Because then she would be like, well, remember where you said it? You know what I mean? It would have given us a little bit more clarity. But to me, again, it seems as if Whitney is a bone carrier and just fumbling all the bones and mixing up all the information. She's not a reliable source. Sorry, Whitney. Sorry, not sorry. Guys, as always, how would you rate the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City between 1 and 10? And what did you think of the episode? What stood out to you? What did I not mention that you wanted to talk about? Let's have that conversation in the comment section. And as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. And don't forget to follow me on my social media because you never know when I might go live on TikTok, Instagram, while I'm at BravoCon. Thanks, guys, for watching.